Today's movie watching actually started last night, but I was too tired to finish the triple feature I wanted to do, so I finished it this morning, and I'm doing a video of all three films. They were three Dirk Bogarde films of exceedingly gay nature, and Dirk Bogarde was gay. He was not obviously out during most of his career, especially because in England it was illegal to be a homosexual male until 1967. So 1967, just let that sink in. That was 50 years ago. It's barely anything. That's like your parents. So think about that. Or you might be 50. I don't know how old you are. That's insane. So I watched these three films, two of which were on TCM. One was on Filmstruck. Death in Venice was the first one I watched. This was not part of the Gay Pride celebration on either service, but it's pretty gay, and it was actually part of European Vacation theme. Obviously, it's based on the Thomas Mann book, Death in Venice. I have not read that yet. It's one of those, like, great books that I'm always like, nah, I'll get to it. But the film I really enjoyed. It's directed by Luchino Visconti, and it was all filmed in Cinecittà, so not actually Venice. But basically, it follows, and it's changed from the story a little bit, but it follows a man in the turn of the century, 1912 or so, who has gone, in this case, he's a, in the book, he's a writer. In this, he's a composer. He's gone to Venice to get some relaxation. However, there is a big cholera epidemic because wherever there's lots of water, there's often cholera, especially before science figured out how to stop that happening. So, and actually there's still cholera epidemics. So, so anyways, he doesn't know this. They're not telling the rich people this. He's staying in this fancy hotel. He sees this boy that is the most beautiful thing. And slowly but surely, he gets more and more sort of less passive about the way he is viewing this boy and trying to get closer to him. Is it because he's attracted? Is it because this boy is everything that's pure and good that he no longer is? That's up for debate. I don't think that it can be one. It has to be one or the other. I think it can be both. And definitely Dirk plays it as both. There's wonderful costumes, beautiful cinematography by Pasqualino De Santis, and it looks like every time you pause it, it looks like a turn of the century painting. It's gorgeous. There's some horrible things about the filming that I was reading about that, like, I need to get Dirk's memoirs. But also there's a lot of discussion about the way music was changing at that time, and so Visconti underscores that with these beautiful pieces from Mahler. And so I recommend this. I think it's already expired on TCM, but you can find it elsewhere. I think it was on, sometimes it's on Warner Archive Instant. So definitely check it out. It's very, as they say, deliberately paced, so prepare yourself for that. Of all the Dirk that I've seen, which is not a lot, but it's maybe the best performance of his that I've seen. He's so good, and mostly it's done with his face. Not so much with dialogue, and the way in which he and the boy starts to enjoy being viewed, and so he views more. It's a really interesting sort of cat and mouse, innocent but not look at the gays and the gays. So definitely check that out. It's from 1971. The next one I watched was I Could Go On Singing from 1963, directed by Ronald Neame. Second time this week, I can't pronounce that guy's name. It is Judy Garland's final performance, and what a performance. I was blown away by her. Not just her singing, but the drama, all of it. Oh, it's amazing. And so Dirk co-stars in this, and he actually helped co-write some of her lines to make them more suited for her as a performer. This was part of TCM's Gay Hollywood celebration for Dirk, obviously, but Judy is a huge gay icon, so it's a nice pick for that. And it's basically, Judy is playing a famous singer who 15 years earlier had an affair with a doctor played by Dirk Bogarde. A child was born. Judy was like, I can't do this shit. So the child goes up for adoption, kind of, and then is adopted by the doctor and his wife, even though it's really his kid, out of wedlock. And he never told his real son that hey, you're really my son. His wife has died. Judy playing, her name is Jenny in this, is on tour in England and wants to see her son, and obviously wants more from that. And you get this beautiful burgeoning relationship between Jenny and her son, but you also get to start peeling away the layers of animosity between Jenny and her ex-lover, whose name is David, played by Dirk, and it's just amazing to. It's a great look at how you can form an instant relationship with someone, and how you can a relationship can last for so long, and you can not see each other for almost 20 years, and it's just still there, that connection. And they have just amazing chemistry, Judy and Dirk. And Judy sings some songs that I'm like, I cried by myself. Like, just look that one up on YouTube, and then if you're not like, oh my shit, then go and watch this whole movie, because that's, other than The Man Who Got Away, like, I feel like that's maybe her best ever song. God, I want to see this as like a double feature with A Star Is Born now. Judy's brilliant. I'm still bitter that she lost an Oscar to Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly's terrible most of the time, but particularly not great in the one that she won her Oscar for. I just don't. Playing against against type is not enough to win an Oscar, but it is often. So, I'm not a voting member of the Academy. This is I Could Go On Singing. Twilight Time recently released it on Blu-ray, but they do limited editions, so I don't know if that's still available. But definitely seek this film out. It's fantastic. The last film I watched was Basil Dearden's Victim, where Dirk Bogarde actually plays a gay man, but he is married to a woman played by Sylvia Sims. This is the first film in the English language to use the word homosexual, and it was rearing against the laws in England that I said it was illegal to be a homosexual male. And so this is about how men were blackmailed. And in this particular case, a younger man who had a relationship with Dirk's character, but it no longer does, is being blackmailed. And he's trying to contact Dirk. You're not really sure why. This guy, his name is Far. Dirk's character is Far in this. Eventually, he gets picked up by the cops. They realize he's being blackmailed because he's stolen money, and they realize that he's stolen all this money, but he hasn't bought anything. So they know this is what happens. He's arrested. He kills himself because he feels like there's nothing left for him in life. And the rest of the film is Far trying to find out who was blackmailing him, basically trying to make it right, because this was a man that he felt deeply for. But you also have Far's wife coming to terms with the fact that she always knew that he was a gay man based on something that happened when he was in school, but she thought that like many people at this time, that marriage would make it better, and it doesn't. And so you get to see like a lot of interesting people who were accepting at this time, people who were straight up bigots at this time, gay men who fought for their lives, and gay men who just played the game so that they could do what they did behind closed doors and not have to stir anything. And so you get a lot of different aspects of what it's like to be a gay man in 1961 in England, and what it's like to be people who are aware of gay people, and whether you're cool about it or whether you're accepting about it. It's just a fascinating film. And what was I going to say? It's available from Criterion they have an Eclipse set of Basil Dearden films, and I've seen a few of the other films, and it's a great set. This is on Criterion, or this is on Filmstruck right now, so you can watch it. Dirk is amazing in it. Unfortunately, because it's still 1961, the ending is a little like, it's not necessarily saying like heterosexual marriage is great, but it's not saying that it's terrible either, and it's almost saying that like needing someone's more important than loving someone, and that you can, find a way to have heterosexual relationships and fulfill your homosexual feelings at the same time. And that's a little strange, and you could kind of tell it was written by straight people. But definitely a groundbreaking film, perfect for Pride Month. All of these films were great. You should just watch all the Dirk films. I'm definitely I always liked him, but now I need to find all his films and watch them all. So that will probably happen while I'm trying to finish Denzel as well. This was Death in Venice, 1971. I Could Go On Singing, 1963, and Victim, 1961. I recommend all three of these films.